Welcome to Kletus Ray's Roadside Service. We're coming at you, driving down the road. We are almost to Oklahoma, southern Kansas here, 69 southbound, passing by Jake's Fireworks. They're not having a lot of business right now, but hey, come July, they'll be busy over here. Right now, there are cars in the parking lot. What are they doing? What the hell are fireworks places doing, all year? How do they do that? How do I get into that? Maybe that's my business plan. They got this giant warehouse and they sell fireworks once, maybe twice a year for events. They got the 4th of July, of course, and then you got like New Year's. And then I guess, I don't know, football games, baseball games, tennis matches. People want to really spice those fucking things up so they get some fucking things to go boom in the sky, and that's good for some reason. Fireworks are always weird. So I don't know how my new dog, my Luna, the German Shepherd, I don't know how she is with fireworks. I think she'll be okay. Maybe I need to just, oh God, this fucking Grand Marquis about went in the ditch. Holy shit, watch where you're going, bud. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I need to get her indoctrinated because it was rough with my one dog, my boxer lab mix. Rusty was his name. Rusty Hammer. That was his real name. Rusty Hammer. I was just like, what's a brown? Because he was a brown dog, and when he was a puppy, I was like, what's brown? And I love the color brown. And actually, the color of that dog is my favorite color of all time, brown. And that's always been my favorite color. People are upset with me when they're like confused. They're like, "What's your favorite color?" I'm like, "Brown." And they're like, "Ew." I'm like, "My dog is not yucky, okay? Neither are brownies. Those are good. Uh, what else is brown that's good? Uh, chocolate. Usually desserts, I guess. Gravy. You can have brown gravy. I do kind of, I don't know. A brown gravy is good sometimes. If I had two choices of brown gravy and white gravy, I'm probably going to go white gravy just because the specks of pepper in there look really good. We are way off topic. Fireworks. I don't know how my German Shepherd is going to act around fireworks, but it was rough with Rusty. Rusty would not go outside the whole month of July. Even after the fireworks were done, the little fucking neighbor kids that want to go out and just light off a couple of little fucking, hey, it's your right. You can do that. That's fine. But it was making my life hell, man. I'm like, go outside. I would have to walk him outside in the backyard and, stay with him until he did, a piss and a shit. And then when I say, all right, I just say, ah, and, that's part of all right. When I say, ah, he's running to the fucking back door of the house. He's like, get me in this motherfucker. Somebody might boom something out here. And I used to take him, when he was a puppy, I got him out off of a farm. He was like 6 weeks old. And then I kept going back to that farm as my uncle's. Well, it's not really a farm. It wasn't really a farm. It was just some land surrounded by farmland. So it felt like you had all this area and you really only had like a little 5 acre plot. But anyways, I would go out there and shoot guns. And he was cool with it for a little bit. And then I don't know. He never got used to it after that. But yeah, I'm wondering how Luna's going to do with the fireworks. I hope better. I hope she'll go outside and at least piss and then come back in. She's such a smart dog. Now Rusty was really smart, but he was also like, he was my baby. You know, I was with him all the time. I had a lot more home time. He was my first dog, so he got way more love than any other dog I'll ever have is probably ever going to get, you know, just because, you know, not that I don't love my other dogs, but it was just, I specifically spent a lot of time with him. And then now I got Luna, and, you know, the wife and the kids are at home. My daughter, she's so funny. My daughter, she's like, sit! Sit! Like, she's like, I'm like, hey, you could just say sit, but she thinks she has to scream it right in her face. she'll listen. The dog don't give a shit, you know. but but Luna is showing that maybe she could end up being smarter than Rusty, given the proper training, you know. But she, yeah, I think I don't know who I told. It might have been you guys. It might have been somebody else. But I was feeding her the other day because neither one of the kids were around to do it. Usually I tell them to go feed the dogs. And we got like a little tub of food and a little scooper and everything. But when I feed the dogs, we got we got a bark box, and it's like got this little seasoning, dog food seasoning, little shaker, and you can sprinkle it on the dog food or whatever. And then I also throw one of these like little beef sticks, dog treat things that we also got, because we get the bark box every month and we don't give them treats super often. So, and we just keep getting bags and bags of these fancy dancy dog treats. So I put them in a tub or whatever. Anyways, when I feed the dogs, they're super excited because nobody else puts seasoning or treats in their food. They're just like, here's the dog food. And you know, it's kind of funny when I get home and I see there's still food in the dog food bowl. And then Luna's just looking at me like, hey, will you fucking spice this up for me, please? That'd be great. But, you know, I told her, sit, stay. I pour her a scoop. Then I grab another like little half scoop and I go to the little dog's bowls and I give them a little bit. And then I go grab the seasoning and a couple of treats or whatever. And then I go down, I season hers, and then I go over the other ones, and she got up and started eating. And I said, go, yeah, sit. No, you're not supposed to eat yet. Sit down, because I need the little dogs to start eating first is the problem. They got to start eating first, or at least all at the same time, because her bowl is going to be empty by the time I get done seasoning there. So I got to make her sit, or else she'll go over there and she ain't trying to steal food, but the other dogs, they like to kind of take their time, I guess, when they're eating. And Luna's not. She's just like, how fast can I eat? I can beat my record. Um, so, anyways, I told her she had already started eating, and I told her to sit down. She spit all the food in her mouth out. I was like, what the fuck? She's like, yeah, you told me to stop eating. I will stop eating. Like, straight up, I'm going to stop eating. I couldn't believe it. And then last night was also kind of cute because, well, me and my son were sitting on the couch, and my wife got up to get something, and then she came back, and she started tickling my son, and Luna was like, you ain't touching that boy. You know, she wasn't getting angry. She said she thought she heard her growl a little bit, but I was like, I think we would have all known if it was super aggressive, but and then she was just kept testing it. I'm like, that dog, if that dog bites you, you know that's not her fault, right? She's already told you to quit fucking with the boy, and you keep fucking with the boy while she's present. You need to let her outside next time you want to tickle him. I'm like, I mean, she's a German Shepherd. They're kind of known to be good at biting, you know. And I don't want her to bite, but I'm like, you know. But it was kind of funny because she was like, all right, let me test it on you. She started smacking, you know, my legs and my feet and stuff, and she didn't care. And then I started smacking her arm, and she didn't care. She's protective of the kiddos, which is awesome. I like that. But I'm like, hey, I'm the alpha. She doesn't give a shit who's gonna try to smack me or whatever, unless it's like probably a real stranger or something, I guess. But um, yeah, she's like, no, he's alpha. Let's see who wins this. That's probably, I don't know, pack animals would do that. They're like, all right, who's taking on the alpha? All right, let's see what happens. Who's going to be the leader from now on? But no, I'm the alpha. Even though I'm not there that much, things get, I don't know what it is. It's just being a father, being a man of the house is kind of fun. Kind of fun. A lot of excitement there because my wife can have all these problems. The kids aren't listening. This is going wrong. The dogs won't do what I say, and I show up and everybody acts right. And I'm the nicest dad there is. I'm super duper nice and loving and caring and whatnot. But I show up and I don't know. It's like I get a little respect out of my house, and I think that's needed. Got to have a little respect somewhere, and the household is where you get it. I sit down, I say, hey, can you get me a cup of water? Anybody will get me a cup of water. That's nice. It's nice because I've been working all day, you know. But I mean, not to say she ain't working. She's watching the kids and whatnot. She's running around, running all the errands, making sure the kitchen and the living room and all the kids are taken care of and whatnot. But which is a super help. I think we're a pretty healthy, happy family. There's no real big problems. We have a spending problem, that's for sure. We got a sponsor on the show, not a real sponsor, but somebody that I use their products every single day, uh, other than sleeping, because my eyes are closed. When my eyes are open, I'm looking through zennioptical.com. Go to zennioptical.com, pick you out some safety glasses for work, pick you out some reading glasses, bifocals, sunglasses. That's what I got. I got polarized sunglasses. They're a little bit of an amber tint. Everything looks like Mexico. Okay? These are wonderful sunglasses I got here. Even though somebody tried to scratch them yesterday, not cool. But yeah, go to zennioptical.com. Use the code Kletus, and it won't do anything for you. But you could maybe try some other stuff. I don't know. Just start typing shit in. I don't think there's like a limit. You can just like keep trying different things. Maybe you'll find a creator code or something that'll work. My creator code, I don't have one. I've not been in contact with Zenni. I'd love to. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how that shit works. Are they gonna look at me and be like, "How many plays are you getting?" And I'm like, 4. They're like, "No, we're not sponsoring you." It's like, well, hey, man, I'm trying to, I'm talk about you in the good light. Zenni Opticals, awesome, love you guys. Give my, you know, give people that use the code Cletus, maybe 2.5% off or something. Give them something. Maybe I could make that work out. I don't know how to get in contact with like a corporation, But anyways, why was I talking about glasses? I just said sponsor the show. We're talking about dogs. Oh, fuck this. Maybe I shouldn't have a sponsor. I totally forget my whole train of thought afterwards. I got, thank you to the commenters. I've been getting a few comments here and there, which is awesome. Thank you, Luke. And Shane, I don't know if he commented because I was, threatening or being upset or sad about not getting comments. He could have just commented, Jesus Christ, there's a fucking green light. Holy shit. Well, it's turning red. I'm not even through the intersection. It's turning red. This motherfucker. Hey, look at, when you drive. Hey, man, look at the lights. God damn it, man. The people behind me don't know what's going on. They think I'm just a big slow slug out on the road. Luke mentioned that after vac truck lessons, he is now a full-fledged vac truck operator. Everybody give him a round of applause for the accomplishment of becoming a vac truck operator. I don't know if he's going to quit his job and start doing vac truck I don't know. But if he does, I'm going to take credit. I'm going to need a little bit of a garnishment off of his paychecks, okay? Training people is fun, but it ain't free. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. He ain't quitting. But now he does. Maybe a couple other people there understand little vac truck operations. And then old Shane has tattoos. Go check out his YouTube channel. Type in Shane has, no space, Shane has tattoos into YouTube. And I don't know, I think there's a setting in YouTube you can set it to play when in background or something. That's what I got it set as, so I can drive and I'm not sitting there watching a YouTube video, because I can just listen to him. But there are some things, there are videos there, which is pretty cool. And I thought about, that'd be kind of cool to do a video. I know Spotify supports it. I could do a YouTube video of the podcast, just have it facing me, but nobody wants to see that. And I also don't really need, I don't think you need a visual. Okay, I think we're doing all right. I did do one YouTube video of me doing a podcast, and that was a while back. But anyways, where are we at? Shane has tattoos. He commented. He said, "You're keeping us on the hook. What the hell is going on with the other threesome you had? We already talked about the threesome I had with a monkey. If you're curious about that, you're going to have to go listen to that episode. I don't remember what I called it, but you go back a couple episodes. I think it's pretty self-explanatory in the title, the threesome I had with a monkey. Hold on, I'll just I'll do you a solid real quick, and I'll go back and look. Jack in the Box, episode 469. So just a few episodes ago. Yeah, Jack in the Box. Yeah, I talk about fucking a monkey in that episode. I sucked a monkey's cock in that episode. So go check it out if you're really interested. Monkey cum is actually pretty good. It's like frosting, but like a little bit of an almondy flavor. If you feed your monkey a lot of almonds, it will have a little bit of an almond flavor. This particular monkey was eating a lot of pineapple and almond, so it's like it was a weird combination. I didn't know that pineapple and almond would go so well together, that when you feed a monkey a lot of almonds and pineapple, the semen that's coming out is fucking delicious, dude. I just want to put that on my fucking cornbread. And it also has like healing properties, I think. I had this weird lump on my leg, and it went away after sucking the cock off a monkey. So, anyways, that episode was exciting. There's another threesome I've had. He said you've had two threesomes. I've had, uh, well, I wouldn't. Well, so like, all right. Whenever I talked about the monkey threesome, I was just making all that other shit up on this episode, but that episode completely true. My penis never came in contact with any monkey whatsoever. My mouth also never came in contact with any penis. And that's true for this next threesome. Actually, that could have been a girl monkey. I don't know. I didn't gender it. I don't know what the monkey identified as. Back then, nobody cared. You know, people were who they were supposed to be. But nowadays, I don't know. Could have been a girl monkey. Could have had a threesome with my girlfriend and a girl monkey. Don't know. Anyways, there was a little bit of physical contact, but not a lot. Now this other threesome, it's one that I think is an important story. I think it's important for people to understand how threesomes work, and that sometimes things get a little out of hand. And maybe listening to my story will make you more comfortable getting into a threesome with somebody. Somebody's plural. Um, if I could go back, would I do it again? There'd be some changes, probably. You know, if I could go back in time, I would probably change a couple of things, and you'll probably be able to pick those out of the story. Um, but I mean, I'm not happy it happened. Let's just get into it. So, I was working at a gas station, and there was this other clerk with me, and he was from a different branch, and he came over there, and he said our gas pump intercom is fucked up. You know, it's never worked or whatever. He's like, does yours work? And he just started calling people, like making fun of them or just saying random shit, meowing, barking, cooing like a crow, clucking like a chicken, mooing like a pig, you know, squealing like a llama into the intercom to random pumps out there. And I was like, dude, you know, I'm a pretty loose guy, but this is a little much. Like, you know, if I go to a gas station and I hear somebody fucking geckoing through the fucking intercom at me, I don't know. I would be personally, I think it'd be cool for me to do it, but I feel like somebody, you know, just got off a business trip, a meeting thing, and he's working on his stocks and ETFs, and he's got a 401k. He might just hang the pump up and drive off. He might even call up the manager and be like, hey, your fucking dumbass employees are over here sounding like lizards through the intercom. So anyways, I would never do that. I would wait for them to come in, and then I'd have conversations with them inside, personal. But this guy, he would go over there, intercom out, and then walk over to the other side of the counter, and it would look like I was doing it the whole time. But anyways, there was these two girls that showed up. They were out there pumping gas. One of them came inside, and you know, we all noticed her. Not ugly, not ugly at all. And then she went back outside, and then he started talking to him over the intercom. He's trying to get their phone numbers and stuff. And we have a full line of gas pumps. I got a line of customers inside, and he's over there intercomming, trying to get these girls' numbers. And he's like, come in. They're like, no, you know, you come out here and then we'll give it to you. And he's like, no, you come in here and give it to me. And he described to me what I looked like. I have a beard and glasses. And then he walked to the other side. And then they came in, they looked at me. And they were like, you want our number? I was like, yeah. Because what are you supposed to do? Say no and be all awkward and whatnot? I was like, yeah, I'll take your numbers. So they gave me their numbers. And like I said, they weren't ugly. They were all right. And then he's like, man, I can't believe you just did that. I'm like, what? You got me. Okay, whatever. I also don't have a whole lot of, you know, I don't know. I don't really get embarrassed a whole lot. Like whenever I don't know. He was expecting me to get embarrassed by it and say, no, 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 it was him. And then he was going to be like, no, no, it was him. And I didn't want to go through all that bullshit. I just said, yeah, it was me. You see how the story's shaping up here? You see how it's shaping up? You think that I got these two girls' numbers and I had a threesome with both of them. One of them. One of them. We'll get into the other person here in a little bit. It was not my fucking dipshit fucking clerk over there. So anyways, yeah, I get off of work and I go. I used to go to bonfires all the time, so I think I invited these girls to the bonfire. And they came out, and we were all having a good time. We were all sitting around, probably underage drinking, whatnot, hanging out. And not they were at least 18, and I was, I think, 19 or 20. No, I was definitely 21, but they were over 18. They had tattoos and whatnot. That doesn't mean anything. I don't know their birthdays. They were of age. Anyways, what we're going to talk about is, yeah, so we're at a bonfire. We're all hanging out. We're having a good time. And then me and one girl, we did hook up. We hooked up once or twice, I think. And then I was moving on to other girls. I wasn't a whore, obviously. I wasn't big at the time, but I was a fucking goober. But I was a pretty cool guy. I was fun to hang out with. I think I still am. Anyways, I moved on to several girls. And this was just another one that, I had the pleasure of hanging out with closely, naked, touching, getting moist. And I go over to one of my buddies' house, and this is a totally different guy. And I'm like, hey, man, what's going on? We're just hanging out. And he's like, dude, we need to find some bitches. And I'm like, good luck, man. Like, I don't know. You have the same ability as I do. And he's like, do I, though? I'm like, well, yeah. We're like the same damn person. He was a little bit stronger than I was. But he didn't have a job. So I guess I was like, well, I did meet these two girls at the gas station, a while back, and I actually hooked up with one of them. So maybe I could give them a call and see if they want to hang out tonight. So I gave them a call, and one of the girls said, yeah, sure, come pick me up. So I drove out to go pick her up, and then I brought her back to his place. And now he had his mom was, I don't know, his mom was, I don't want to say she was on drugs, but she could have been. Nobody would have been like, oh shit, she's on drugs. He'd been like, oh yeah, of course she's on drugs. She never really showed it, but if she came out, she's like, I've actually been addicted to heroin. I've been taking it in the ass every Tuesday to make a little extra money to do some heroin, and we'd all be like, we understand. And then his stepdad was an older gentleman that owned all this land. He had a pond. It wasn't a mansion, but it was a big fucking house. And yeah, they had a bunch of land and a really nice pond with a porch and shit. It was like a double-decker porch, so you could rope swing or jump off the top deck into the pond and everything. Anyways, I'd never been swimming in the pond before, but we had gone down there a few times. And anyways, so I get the girl, go back to his house, and we're all just kind of hanging out inside of his house. And he's like, "Let's go swimming." And it wasn't particularly warm that night, but it wasn't too cold. Uh, and we go down to she was interested. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'd like to go swimming." So we go down there, and it was pretty fucking cool. I mean, she didn't strip down naked, but she got down into them panties and bra and jumped in first. And I was like, "Dude, don't you have like snapping turtles and shit in there?" He's like, "Yeah, but they're sleeping." You know. So we all jumped in, and we're swimming around, and me and this girl had already had relations. So I just kind of got up in there, and we were just swimming together and everything. And then this fucking guy, he started getting up close and everything too. And I'm like, "Man, this is kind of like, I don't know if I feel like sharing," is what I was thinking. But then I had got out to go do something, maybe go smoke a cigarette or something, because I was smoking cigarettes at the time. And they're getting a little frisky down there in the water. And then they get out, and then he convinced her to get stripped down naked. He stripped down naked, and then she was asking me to get down stripped naked too. And I said, "All right, I've never done this before." This was after the monkey incident. I don't know if the monkey incident had trained me for anything that was about to happen here. But there's just a bunch of naked kids down here at the pond. And yeah, I don't know who initiated it, but anyways, we're both going at it, and in my mind, I had the wobbly H. I was like, we're gonna do the wobbly H. One's gonna be on the head, one's gonna be on the tail. We're gonna, high five, or make an A. Whenever you do the YMCA, this is one way to do the A for the YMCA, and it didn't exactly turn out that way. He was a little shy. I was also a little shy. I'd never been with my penis dangling and erect around another man. And I don't know if he did or not either, but, we did have a beautiful woman to kind of ease our inhibitions. I think that's a commercial. Ease your inhibitions. It's like some health clinic or something, maybe. Anyways, we had a beautiful young woman there to keep us erect. But he was still shy. But anyways, I start going at this woman from the tail, not in the ass. I don't really like fucking in the ass. Is that weird to me? I don't really like doing that. I like the regular old vagina's good. Regular old vagina's good. Sometimes, slip it up into the belly button. It's like, it's so shallow. Anyways, I'm going at it with her, and he gets behind me. And I'm like, I'm on guard. I've never been in this position with him. I just assumed he, no, I don't think any of us have ever been in a situation like this, but I feel like there's easy rules to follow when you're clearly not. Maybe he's bi. I don't know. But I was not bi. I didn't want anything to do with him. It was enough seeing his hard cock. Didn't really want to see that. He gets behind me and he starts jerking off like he's gonna squirt on her or something. But he's right behind my fucking ear. And I'm like, brother, whoa, easy. And I don't know, I think maybe me raising my voice might have threw him off or something. But I just kept going at it, and then I don't know what he did. He might have got embarrassed and then just went into, I don't know. But it was interesting. Real, I'm trying to be truthful here, okay? Listen, this is where I was saying there would be some changes. If I could go back in time, there'd be some changes. I never want to ever have somebody jerking off next to my ear ever again. At least do it somewhere else. He didn't want to do it, he didn't want me to see him doing it, I guess. That's fine. But not that close, man. You know? Super fucking close. And I have really good ear sight or hearing. I can hear a damn ant chewing a leaf. I haven't tested that theory, but I bet you I could. I can hear anything. I can't hear really loud shit sometimes. Am I fucked up? If there's a loud or a lot of things happening, they all get jumbled together. But if it's like a TV is on in another room with the door shut, I can hear that motherfucker. I can hear it's on. It's on a black screen or something. It's not playing fuzz. You have the TV muted. In fact, I can hear that fucking TV on. I can feel the EMP waves coming through, underneath the door. I can hear it. I can pinpoint it. I got some sort of a radar detection. You have a TV in a room, I can tell if it's on and what wall it's in, nearby. I can tell where the remote control is. That one's a lie. But I can tell almost all the other shit. Got to turn left here. Don't miss my turn. So is that a threesome? Do you all have to fuck each other for it to be a threesome? Or was that just two buds fucking one chick? Now, the story does continue after that. Now, I do have like a whole... Me and this dude were friends for a while. And I guess you could almost say we're still friends. We just haven't talked in years. And I mean years. Over 10. This fucking guy. He was it looked like maybe he was... He could have been he was on drugs sometimes. But he could have been on drugs all the time. He's one of those, you just look at him. He's wearing sweatpants, socks, and slips. And you're like, and he's wearing like old high school t-shirts and stuff all the time. And you're like, you've smoked weed. You've probably put something into your vein at some point in time. I mean, he's a good guy. You can just tell he was just trying to get street cred is what he was doing. Anyways, what was I going to say about him? Oh, so remember there were two girls at the gas station. We fucked this one girl. It was a few months later. He ended up getting her number from this threesome. And then he got with her friend. And I think they had some actual threesomes. I was not involved with any of those. I said, all right, I'm done. We're going to go ahead and split off different directions here. I never saw that girl again after that. But she was still around because he started fucking her friend, and they were best friends. And now, guess what now? They're married. And they have children. So this dude is married. I don't know if still, it's been a while. But he's married to Wobbly H's best friend with children. And I believe they had a couple of threesomes or something in between. Wobbly H's friend called me up one day, and I didn't know who the fuck she was, you know, because I really didn't have much interaction with her. She called me up and she said, "Hey, you know, your friend, his birthday is today." I said, "Oh, really?" She's like, "Yes." And I think they were just boyfriend and girlfriend at the time. She's like, "Yeah, I want to do a surprise birthday party, and I didn't know who else to call, so I figured you and him are pretty good friends, seeing how you fucked my best friend with him." And I'm like, "Well, that's awkward, but yes." She's like, "I want to throw a surprise birthday party for him, so meet me at this address at this time, and we're gonna have the another friend. This guy was seriously on drugs. He built computers and stuff. He was like a computer nerd. He was more friends with this guy than I was. You know, they used to have sleepovers and stuff all the time. Anyways, I go over to this place, this apartment, and I go inside, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, he's almost here." And I was like, "We could have me, you, and his other friend. We could all have a threesome right here." And then that could be his surprise. When he shows up, there's two dudes fucking his girlfriend, and he can hop in also. Just kidding. I wasn't gonna do that. It was pretty civilized. I had really grown up by this point in time, and I guess so did he. Um, he comes in the house and he is pissed off. I hadn't seen him in a while, and he's pissed off. He is so mad that we are at his house. And what it was is that he had a long day at work. He did like a double shift or something. He got home and he was ready to just kind of settle down and probably get his dick sucked. But instead, he has these two fucking guys at his house that his girlfriend invited over. And we're all hanging out in the room. They had no furniture. There might have been one shelf or a bookcase or something, but there was no furniture. We're all just sitting on the floor, and we started playing like board games or something. I don't know. And he was like, "It's getting hot in here." So he went to go open up the window of the apartment. And when he opened it, the fucking window fell. Like it fell off the track or whatever and landed on his arm and broke. And we were all like, "Oh shit." And we all started laughing, and he was laughing too. But then he started yelling. He's like, "Help, help, help." And then he dropped it, and it sliced open his thumb or his palm or something like that. And so then it's his birthday. He's pissed off already, and now he's bleeding. Not good. And so I ended up driving him up to the hospital and just kind of dropped him off. Him and his girlfriend. I don't know. I don't know how that all worked. But anyway, I think I took him to the hospital, and birthday was over. And then it was like a couple weeks later, he called me and he said, "Hey, I need you to come in as a witness. I'm suing the apartment. The window shouldn't have fallen and broken like that." And I ghosted him. Is that a good? I don't know. He's like, I'm gonna get fucking paid. I'm like, okay. But I never went in as a witness. I think that was the last time I really talked to him. It was just like he didn't really, you know, we were friends, but it was just weird, and he was not very happy with anything. I mean, I guess I should have maybe went and helped him out or something. It's just like I was busy. You know, I had to work at the gas station. Well, I wasn't working at the gas station anymore. I don't know where the fuck I was working, but I wasn't working at the gas station. I was working somewhere else. Um, I had shit going on, man. I can't be going to fucking try to help you get your fucking court case won or whatever. Like, yeah, call me. I can give you a statement over the phone or something, but nah, I don't know. He never really pushed it either, so I don't think anything ever happened. That you broke a window and you cut your arm. I don't know if maybe he did get paid and he's living in $1 million mansion or something somewhere. $1 million mansion is pretty small these days, though. I mean, $1 million mansion ain't much. Maybe like a $10 million mansion. I hope he is. I hope he has his wife and his kid in a $10 million mansion and a little scar on his hand, but I don't know. I think that was the last time I ever talked to him or had contact with him. But anyways, I hope he's doing good. You know, he turned out way different than I ever thought he would. I never thought that guy would be a father. I didn't know I would never be a father. But I'll tell you what, I really enjoy being one. Yeah, and the one thing I kind of hope is that when my children get older, I'm gonna have to delete the podcast. Not yet, but I'm gonna have to delete this. I'm gonna have to delete all of this shit. I don't need my kids finding out who I was back in the day, listening to my stories, and they're like, "Oh shit, Dad posted an episode, almost every day of the week for years, talking about the weird shit that's happened in his life. Let's go listen." And they're like, you had a threesome with a monkey, and then later on you had another threesome with another dude. But kids, listen, okay? It was a different time. It was a different time. Okay, I wasn't trying to fuck a guy, and then nothing ever happened there. There was a girl. I promise. Anyways, pretty fucking gay. Pretty gay. Um, I've had gay friends. I've had gay friends. There was this one guy. He was a big part of our friend group. We were all rednecks. We all listened to Hank Williams Jr. Drove 4-wheel drive trucks, had bonfires, would shoot guns. We would hang out at this one dude's grandma's farm, and she had like a pool table room. You'd go in this house, and there was just a bunch of kids smoking and drinking, getting hammered and fucking. And we tried cow tipping a couple of times. We would go barn searching. We'd just go, we were all rednecks. But there was just one big, he was big. He was kind of pretty fat, but he was gay. Or at least that's what he always said. He never had a boyfriend. But he was just like, he's like our mascot, But it wasn't because we were all gay. Just he was gay. The rest of us were fucking girls. He just was not interested in the girls, but he was also the guy that would keep the girls around. A big gay guy was the mascot of the women. You could say he was the pimp because all the girls would all hang out with him all the time. We would invite him and the women, and then they would all show up and we'd just have a great fucking time. It was like perfect. And I loved that man. That man was an awesome friend. His family owned a donut shop and a muffler shop, and we would go hang out at the donut shop sometimes. We'd go hang out at the muffler shop sometimes. There was a big billboard in front, like a big ass billboard in the muffler shop parking lot. We would get hammered drunk at the muffler shop, and then go climb the billboard. It's amazing nobody fell off. Or if they did, they didn't die. It wasn't super tall, but it was, it's like one of those V-shaped billboards. So you could get up and you could walk around in the middle of the billboard. You could get up there and do whatever the fuck you want. Nobody's looking at you up in the billboard. We could go up there and do whatever the fuck we wanted. They also had some sort of like a bus rental. And there were several times we'd grab a bus because his family owned them. We'd grab the keys and have our own little party bus. That they did it a lot, but I think I only went on it like once. But it was a wonderful time, We're all fucking just shaking the bus. He's driving around. He was also sober. He never touched drugs or alcohol. No smoking, no tobacco, straight up nothing. And he was always down to be a DD. He was such a caring fellow. You know, he was like, I love hanging out with you guys. You guys are a lot of fun, and I'm going to make sure you all get home safe. You know, it was just a wonderful guy. If he wasn't around, nothing would have been the same. Anyways, wonderful guy. Shout out to him. Not going to give out any names. He knows who he is, and he is not listening. But I think last time I heard about him, he did have a boyfriend, and they are happy, I think. Gay men are pretty happy, you know, unless they're getting picked on. They're usually pretty fucking happy. They're just having the gayest old time. They're like the Flintstones. They're just having a gay old time. But other gay guys, I said I had gay friends, plural, and I don't know. I think it might have been just one. Is there another? Oh, my wife had a best friend that was gay. He went insane. Like, straight up insane. He drove his Kia Soul into the Missouri River and then swam out of it and tried to fake his death. That's a true story. He also, whenever we were just dating at the time, whenever I first met her, we would go hang out with this guy every now and again. And he kept telling me about, you know, FBI and CIA. He was a conspiracy theory gay. But yeah, he was just completely insane. And my wife quit hanging out with him because of that. She's like, we can't hang out. Like, what? We used to just listen to TLC and bedazzled jeans together, and now he just wants to talk about the CIA, and he wants to try to, you know, fake his death all the time. So he done, but he was a gay man that I met. I've met a lot of gay people. I don't have no problem with gay people. They're a lot of fun. There's some gay women's that I've met. I mean, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I didn't think they were very pretty. They were usually butchy, but hey, if you like V8s, Leonard Skinnerd, and Bush Light, I'm your friend. Let's fucking hang out. You know, I ain't got no problem with none of that. If you want to be a transgender, we can also be friends. I think it's a little weird. I think it's if you're gonna do that, you got to at least be able to take a joke, because there's gonna be jokes. So, and also if you're gay, you got to be. If you're straight, you got to be able to take a joke. If you're gay, you got to be able to take a joke every now and again. You can't be living in anger all the time and be gay and transgender. Okay, you got to be able to take a little bit of a joke. I know a lot of people, they do take it a little far here and there. Me personally, whenever I make a joke, it's out of love. If I really didn't like you, I wouldn't make any jokes at all. I wouldn't talk to you. I wouldn't hang out with you. I wouldn't high five you. I wouldn't knuckles you. I wouldn't fist you. I wouldn't, kiss you. I wouldn't suck your cock. I wouldn't eat your ass. I wouldn't finger your nipple a little bit. I wouldn't go into the shallow vagina that everybody has, which is the belly button, unless you have an Audi. Everybody has a shallow vagina that a dick will penetrate, but you can't get pregnant through that one. And I don't know who it feels good for. I wouldn't do any of those things if I didn't, if you got to be able to take a joke. I've been to Hamburger Mary's. Look it up. Hamburger Mary's. It's a bunch of, they're not transgenders. They are, what are they called? Cross dressers, divas, hairy fat men that like to dress up in heels and dresses. I've been to Hamburger Mary's, and I do have an interesting story about being at Hamburger Mary's. It was my girlfriend, my wife now, I don't know, we could have been married at the time. Her parents were like, hey, we're going to this hamburger joint, hop in. So I get in their car, and they drive us, and we go to this Hamburger Mary's place, and we go, and they're like, we're going to sit up front. So we sit in the very front row, and I don't know anything. It was a weird-looking statue when you walk in there. It's a manly woman holding a cheeseburger, but, whatever. And we sit down, and then this bearded lady, which was a man dressed as a woman, walked out and was kind of like loosening people up, getting their assholes a little loose, getting them to cackle a little bit, because it is funny. And I think this was like 2018. Donald Trump had, gotten into power, and there was some disagreements with people back then. But anyways, I didn't know we were going to a gay bar or a dress-up bar. I wore a shirt. Guess what the shirt was? Because I had joined the NRA. I had made a donation or whatever. They gave me a duffel bag and a pocket knife and a sticker. And I put the sticker on my car. Oh, and they gave me this T-shirt. I got the T-shirt, the sticker, I got all this shit. And I just happened to be wearing that shirt that day. And we go into Hamburger Mary's, and I'm wearing an NRA shirt. National Rifle Association. And on the back it says, keep calm and bear arms. Yeah, not exactly the crowd that agrees with something like that. And then to sit me in the front row, I got picked on hardcore because I already look like a redneck. They brought me up on stage. They were like, "What's your name?" And I told them, and they're like, "All right, get up here." And I'm like, and everybody started clapping and everything, and I'm like, "Okay." So I get up there, and they're like, they just kept asking me questions. I don't remember what the questions were, but I was like blushing. I was having a great time. But they were really picking on me. But I think they were trying to see if I was gonna get pissed off or something. But it's like, all right, you're gonna wear an NRA shirt and come to Hamburger Mary's. You're probably not gonna try to punch somebody in the face, and I'm not gonna do that. I'm up there rolling with the jokes, rolling with the punches. She tried to get me to show this man dressed as a woman wanted to see my penis. And I actually started to pull it out. That's pretty gay. But I did start to pull it out, and then this man dressed as a woman stopped me from pulling my cock out. It was like a comedy show. It was a fun fucking time. I had a great time. And those are the kinds of gays that I like to hang out with. You want to have a good time? Not in a bathroom stall with a hole in the door, Maybe just like make fun of people up on stage. That's what I like. I like that a lot. It was a good time. There's got to be more gays. I got to have more gay stories here. What's pretty gay? Tell you what is gay. Showering in middle school. That's pretty fucking gay. Didn't like that at all. You know, all the other boys, they would give themselves a little bit of a chub and then walk around just showing everybody their cock. And it's like, well, I understand we're in the shower, but what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Walking around naked, they're like over there showering and stuff, and even the coaches. That there's got to be something wrong there. Was that even illegal? I don't know. Pretty fucking gay. And what else? There's some. Is there any other gay stuff that I've done? I've done some gay stuff. Not real gay stuff, just like questionable things where even I got to sit back and I'm like, hold on, let me think about this. No, pretty straight, still pretty straight. I like titties a lot, and I don't like fake titties, and I don't like titties and dick on the same body. I looked it up a while back, because I listened to a podcast where this guy was like, oh, I love looking at chicks with dicks. And I was like, I don't think I want to do that. But it just happened to. I said, all right, let me just Google it. Maybe it will be a thing. And if I was interested in it, I'd be a proponent of it. But I'm not. I said, no, I actually do like the vagina. I like the vagina's pretty good. I like a little hair on a vagina. That's I don't think that's super controversial. I like a little bit of a mystery going on there. I like a little bit of that roughness. I like a little bit of that jungle love, Steve Miller Band. I like a little bit of raunchiness. I don't want it to smell or taste bad, but a little bit of that. I don't even want to talk about eating out that fucking dwarf. That's another. Well, how far are we in here? All right, we can talk one more time. I don't want to leave you hanging on the story, do I? Should I leave you hanging on that little hook there at the end? Because I'm not lying. I ate out a dwarf. All right, all right. You guys talked me into it. If you've made it this far into the episode, I'd really do appreciate it. So I was on, I think MySpace. This was way back in the day. I didn't even have a license yet. I was 14, 15, I think. Yeah, because I didn't have a car. My buddy had a car. My buddy was 16, and he was a grade above me. And I met this girl, because I would, how you did back on MySpace. Get on there, and you see a cute girl, and you try to make her your friend, and you try to chat her up on AOL or AIM. Not AOL, AIM. America Intergalactic. I don't know what the fuck AIM was. America's Instant Messenger. I don't know what the fuck AIM was, but it was like just a little chat thing. It's like text. You could text people on there, and you could send pictures. I saw some girls from my high school on another guy's AIM. He brought me over to his house, and he showed me some of the popular chicks that would send him nudes. Illegal. Didn't know that back then. I don't think it's illegal for a 16-year-old to see another 16-year-old, but anyways, I met this girl, and she looked super fucking cute. So, start messaging her, and then I ended up getting her address, and she just lived on the other side of town. It's a big town, but on the other side of town. I had my buddy drive me over there in his Ford Tempo. Burgundy Ford Tempo that he got from his grandma. And we drive over there, and he's like, is that her or is that her sister? I was like, I don't know. And she's out on the front porch waving her arms at me, saying this is the house or whatever. So I get out of the car, and I'm like, all right, buddy, I'll just see you later. And he's like, all right. And then he just took off. And I walk up the stairs, and, when you see somebody at a distance, I just thought she had a big-ass door. I thought she had like a 9-foot door on the front of her house or something. I get up there. This chick is like a little bit above, well, more above my belly button. Super fucking short. I think she was like 4'6". No, yeah. So she wasn't she was a small person, but she wasn't, are you allowed to say that, midget? Can you say that? I'm only asking, okay? Don't hold me over the fire for saying. I'm asking. Are you allowed to say midget? That's all I'm saying. She was not a midget. She was, because we had got into it. I was like, wow, you are. I thought you'd be a little taller. She's like, and then she got into her whole story. Probably how she has to do with everybody. But she's like, no, I have dwarfism. She's like, but she's completely proportionate, just like miniature. And I was 14, 15, so don't fucking freak out on me now. And I ended up going into her house and hanging out with her. And then we became boyfriend, girlfriend. And we would hang out, hang out. That's what we did. And then there was one time I was over at her house, and she was like, I want you to eat my pussy. And I said, all right. She pulled that down, dude, full bush. But I went at it. I was up in there. I was trying to get the, if you have a little pudding cup and you ain't got no spoon, I was up in that motherfucker, getting around in there. And I don't know why we ended up breaking up. She had a good time. I had a good time. But there might have been something I'm just forgetting. But that relationship did not last a whole long time. But I did eat out a dwarf. I ate that dwarf out. On her living room couch when her parents were gone. And then, I saw her years later. Saw her at a Best Buy. And I was like, oh, shit, I ate your puss. I didn't say that. I just walked in there and acted like, I think she saw me and I saw her. And I think I just, maybe just smiled at her or something and then walked out. And then I did go back to that Best Buy like a week later. I didn't need to go to Best Buy. I was just hoping she would have been there. Just, hey, you single? What's up? But, yeah, not bad. Not bad. It was all right time. Didn't know. I mean, this was unexpected. I didn't try. I wasn't seeking out on dwarves.com or nothing. It was a regular deal, She just didn't talk about it. So, she wanted you to show up and find out. See if you're going to freak out or not. Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode. I'm glad you enjoyed the last 8 minutes of eating a dwarf out. Adios! Keep all 18 down. Subscribe. share, follow, like, rate, review, comment, and we'll catch you on the. I don't want to say flip side. We'll catch you. We'll catch you on the next one. Adios. Bye bye.